Hello, this is Deborah Winger. I want to tell you a true story from my life. It's kind of how I came to the policy of living by the law of no regret. I had thought my whole life I'd lived that way, but I did maybe to a point, but never totally, until all hell broke loose in my life. After Hurricane Harvey hit and my place was pretty well wiped out, I was in love with this guy. He was my fiance. I've been with him for 10 years, and when he was good, he was really good, but when he drank too much, he'd imagine I had somebody else and he'd want to beat me up. And a lot of times he did. Well, after the hurricane, he kind of had a mental breakdown and he almost killed himself, and I was able to stop him from doing that. And he was going to be my backer in a business, and we were going to live happily ever after out there in a cabin on a mountain somewhere. But it didn't quite work out like that. Life normally doesn't work out exactly like you want, right? But anyhow, after a couple of months, when he would drink too much, he finally culminated and he was choking me to death, and we were having a wonderful night. And all of a sudden, across that line, he jumped off the couch and just started choking me, and I had nothing to do but to pray to God in my mind that he would help me. I'm such a forgiving person. It's very hard for me to give up. I just keep trying because I believe good can win out. Unfortunately, I've had to learn good doesn't always win out. Everybody can change, but everybody won't. So I had to run away. My business I couldn't do it because he was going to be my backer, because government jobs don't pay for a few months. So I had no job. The hurricane wiped that out, and now I didn't have my fiance anymore. So I went and cheered up my oldest son for a while, and then my ex-husband, whose wife is in Thailand, couldn't get here, and he was very disabled and very sick, and my daughter needed some help. So I lived by her for a couple of months and helped her with him and with the kids, and I helped him get situated in another city, and fortunately now his wife is here now and he's happy. And so, but for about 2.5 months after this hurricane, that's when I was helping him. Then my other son, I have 5 great kids, 4 great sons, 1 great daughter, and his partner of many, many years, mother of his 6-year-old child at the time, decided that she deserved somebody better than my son, so she got violent and she left him. And I took my grandson down there. We were going to share him every other weekend between San Antonio and Austin. And she wouldn't return. Make a long story short, once she had the kid, the grandmother and her would not return the child. And there was nothing we could do because there was nothing in writing. So we had to start a custody battle. We never done that before. First time she didn't show up to court, we got the saddest time of my life, but I learned how well faith can help you. First time she didn't show up to court, so we got him back. Then the second time she did, and she was accusing my son of things he didn't do, so they ordered an investigation, and then they returned the son to her again, and we couldn't even find him even when he was in the hospital. It took us forever to find him. Thank God he could have died, but he didn't. And to make a long story short, I told my son, I said, God's on the side of what's right. It's going to work out all right somehow. This investigation to prove you're good is going to work for your favor. And that's exactly what happened. The investigation cleared him because he was the responsible one and showed her having all kind of issues and problems. So the judge ordered an emergency hearing and returned my grandson to my son again. I wasn't working at the time, so I was helping to babysit, and it was hard because shortly after that, I found out I had a deteriorating bone disc disease. My insides for 65 were working pretty good, thank God. And my mind, I think, most of the time is kind of full speed ahead, but my bones are hurting. And I didn't know what I was going to do, because it would hurt so bad just to even walk across the living room after I cleaned the house. My neck, my back, my knees, my upper legs. They said all my bones are like not enough spaces between disc and not any fluids, and arthritis and bursitis and scoliosis and, you know, bone disc problems. So just a whole lot of issues. So now I didn't like what I was becoming. I've always been a positive person. And here I am thinking that it's all over with. I can't do nothing. You know, and it was I was getting kind of depressed. Not to the point where I didn't, you know, was falling apart or totally, but I just didn't have no drive to do anything anymore. It was hard just to walk up 3 flights of stairs or even walk around the grocery store. Anyhow, I kept praying and I kept believing that God would give me an idea. Well, I used to sing for a living for many years, and I love singing. And I used to enter singing contests. So there was a singing contest in Louisiana. I had an older car. I didn't have my new car anymore because that got repoed. And I still wanted to have a good older running car. Fortunately, my son had given me, but it had a lot of miles. But I wanted myself, I just had to get myself back on top of things. I didn't like what I was becoming. And it's a proven fact. Between 65 and 85, if you're a positive thinker and you're active and you're busy, you will get 55% less illnesses than anyone else. So this is what I did. I got in my car. I entered the singing contest. Most people thought it wasn't too smart. I didn't have enough money for a motel. So I cleared out the back of my SUV and put a mattress in there. And I said, well, I'm just going to stay in a truck stop and sleep in the back, because I got to make myself do something, or I'm never going to do anything again. And I've done a lot of things throughout the years. Not as much as I could have, but I did accomplish quite a few things through the years. But again, your life is not over till it's over. And even then, the good deeds you do will follow you. So I went to this singing contest. I didn't know how I was going to walk up on the stage, but I did. I managed to get the song turned out fine. I didn't win that time, and I won a few back in the day, but it didn't even bother me, because all I was doing it for is to prove to myself that I can still make a plan and do it. And people were very nice, and people in the truck stops were giving me free shower passes, and boy, it was the hottest night ever in my life, sleeping in the back of that SUV though in a truck stop. It was a little rough, but somebody that I never even met felt sorry for me, and never met the person, but they ended up renting me a room. So the second night going back, I didn't have to sleep in my car, and my tires held up, and I made it back, and I was so elated, and my family thought, why are you so lit? I said, well, because I made a goal, and despite the odds, I did it. Didn't matter. I wasn't going there to win. I was just going there to win a battle in my mind. And after that, things started changing. I started seeing there's still possibilities. That's when I got my books published up on Amazon. I wrote these books years ago. Little methods I've used through the years in my years of working as a counselor that have helped so many couples without getting into their personal business get along and become honeymooners again. And then that's my secondhand dopamine. And it really makes my day. So anyhow, I finally got the books up on Amazon. The Win-Win Solution Contract You Can Find by Deborah Winger. And the other book was about FDR, how he used 11 counseling philosophies to get us through the World War II and the Great Depression. And even some before they were invented, how he won Stalin over to our side, or else we'd all would have lost the war if he wouldn't have done that. I think it's a very interesting book there on Amazon. Also, I call it a guide for leaders. And one thing he said I always liked, he said, I may not have the answer, but there is an answer. And I guarantee you one thing, I am going to find the answer. So, of course, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, is my number one hero in life. He's my Savior, my God, my helper in time of need. He knows I would have never left my ex unless it got that bad, because I'm just so forgiving and I always want to hope for the best. And when I love somebody, I don't like to give up. So God protected me even then. But my earthly hero, of course, FDR, has definitely got to be one of my top 5. Because against all odds, I love what he said. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Because fear has torment, the Bible says, and you don't want to be stuck there. Anyhow, I thought I was going to go back to work, but I've been back to work now 15 months. And I started swimming laps, 30 laps, 3 times a week, which strengthened my leg muscles so I could keep walking. Some days are still really bad, and some days aren't so bad. But on the bad days, I just remind myself that it's just a rainy day and this too will pass. Please remind yourself it's just a rainy day and this too will pass. You got to believe that all things happen for good if you love God. You got to believe that no matter what, there's a purpose and a reason for everything. Right now we live in evil times. I never thought it'd be possible in my 65 years to see what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world could lead to the mark of the beast, one world order, one world control. If it's possible to get a piece of land and a little RV of any kind, where you can grow your own food and, have some water, anything would be better than being stuck in a city without a job, trapped in your house, when all rights are taken away. Now's the time to fix your relationships. You need to fix them. You need to be thankful you have somebody that cares about you, because a whole lot of people don't. And it sure makes things better if you have somebody with you through this all. Do what you can for people today, because you may not get another chance tomorrow. Whatever little kindness you show, the bank in heaven is keeping track. And when you need help the most, that little bank jar of golden coins will tip, and they'll come down and meet your needs and give you what you need in times of trouble. I totally believe that, and that's how I live. Justice will prevail. Whatever goes around comes around. What you sow, you reap. You don't need to be mad and angry. He'll just kill you before your time. With long life, he'll satisfy you. I plan to live to be 100. I got a lot of stuff I got to do. And it all started when I made up my mind. I'm going to live by the law of no regret. Regardless what happens in life, I would rather try to accomplish what I feel I'm meant to do than to live in regret. I wish I would have done that, and why didn't I do that? And I should have showed that kindness. Well, I could. Now I can't. They died. I don't have the opportunity again. Please, I'm begging you, make up your mind. Challenge yourself. Go out there. Do something. Live by the law of no regret. It works a lot better than living in the land of if only.